Okay, let me give you some thoughts about the quiz on 5.3 and 5.4. Quiz is going to be 6 questions, 3 questions from 5.3, 3 questions from 5.4. For 5.3, I'm not going to give you arc function type problems. Okay, so you're not going to need to use your calculator to do the arc function. I'm not going to do any crazy factoring problems. I'm not even going to do the quadratic formula problems. I'm going to kind of stick to some of the basics. That said, there will be some challenging problems. For example, if I give you a problem like this, and I'm not saying this one is on the quiz, I'm just saying this would be a problem that I would expect you to be able to do. If I gave you secant x plus tangent x equals 1, you would need to be able to go ahead and work that out, okay, one step at a time. All right, so far we're just kind of moving our way down. 1 plus sine x equals the cosine of x. Okay, 1 plus, okay, and see here, we'll do cosine x minus sine x equals 1. And if you remember, what we did at this point is we wind up squaring both sides, because there's nothing else that we can do, which is cosine x minus sine x equals 1. So we actually FOIL cosine x minus sine x. What we're basically doing is that, cosine x minus sine x times cosine x minus sine x. And that equals cosine squared x, if we factor, minus 2 sine x cosine x plus sine squared x, and again that all equals 1. Cosine squared plus sine squared is 1. So we'll rename that to be 1. We'll subtract 1 from both sides, and we get negative 2 sine x cosine x equals 0. We'll divide both sides by negative 2. And we'll get sine x cosine x equals 0, at which point you set each of these parentheses equal to 0. Okay, we have 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1. Where's the sign 0? The sign is 0 at 0 and pi. The cosine is 0 at pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. But what you have to do, since we squared both sides, is you have to go back and check each answer with the original. So the original, again, was secant x plus tangent x equals 1. But remember, we rewrote that as this. And now we test each solution. We put 0 in. So the cosine of 0 is 1. 1 over 1 is 1. The sine is 0. 0 over the cosine, which is 1, is 0. So this one checks. So far that's a good answer. When we put pi over 2 in, okay, it turns out that the cosine of pi over 2 is 0, and 1 over 0 is undefined. So pi over 2 cannot be an answer because part of the solution is undefined. When we go to pi, the cosine of pi is negative 1. So we get negative 1 plus 0 over negative 1. And that leaves us a false statement. Okay? That's false. So pi is not a good answer. And then we can go to 3 pi over 2. Well, it turns out that the cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. 1 over 0 is undefined. So the only solution of the 4 that actually works, is not extraneous, is 0. So your total answer to this question will be 0. So make sure if you square both sides, you check for extraneous roots. Another type of problem that I would say you should be prepared for is something like this. If I give you the cosine of 2x equals the root 3 over 2. Remember, what you need to do is you need to ignore the 2x. Ignore the 2x and just solve the problem as if it was the cosine of x. equals root 3 over 2. Now you know that's a 60-degree angle. You know that this is a pi over 6 answer, and it's positive. So our answers are going to be in the fourth quadrant, okay? And therefore it's pi over 6 plus 2n pi. And the fourth quadrant solution of pi over 6 is going to be 11 pi over 6 plus 2n pi. Now, it's at this point, once you've kind of solved everything, that you bring the 2x back in. And now we solve for x. So with this one, we get x equals, divide both sides by 2, we get pi over 12 plus n pi. And this one, we get x equals 11 pi over 12 plus n pi. So your answers to this problem are that. So those are the types of problems in 5.3. There's 3 of them. That's kind of the level of difficulty you can expect. I would strongly recommend you go back and sample your homework problems. In terms of 5.4, I'm going to give you 3 problems. I'm going to give you a hint. They're all going to be sign problems. Okay? Not exactly like this, but we did some of these today. These would be 3 sample problems. In this one, I'm going to give you 2 angles, and you're going to use the sine u plus or minus v formula. On this one, you're going to use the sine plus or minus v on this piece. It'll be the plus v in this case, and then you'll keep solving, and you'll actually solve for x. We did a problem like this in class today. And then for this problem, the only trick here is going to be you have to come up with the 2 angles that you're going to either add or subtract. In this case, pi over 12 can be written as pi over 3 minus pi over 4, and then you can use this formula again to solve. So this will be the 3 questions within 5.4, or similar ones to this. And then going back to 5.3, again, I would work on solving for x, remembering the different tricks and rules that we learned. The best way to prepare is going to be to sample your homework. Good luck, and I will see you all tomorrow.